So we just saw Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm gonna call it Playing with Sonic because it kind of reminded me of Playing with Fire, which I had to see.
People take that a very different way. I hope you like 90s movies. Because, man, this is this movie feels 30 years old.
Which is funny because it's also 30 years too late.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the game just came out, and
I feel like
a
Sonic movie would have killed around the year 2000.
No,
that would have been the last
or something like that.
Yeah, well, no, that would have been at its height. But I realized these things take time, so I feel like around the year 2000. When, I don't think there was a good Sonic game out around anywhere in that area, so people would have started pining for it, it's Sonic, but at this stage in the game,
Okay, even if you're gonna do it, because there's still a fan base there and everything, but man, this is just... we've seen worse films. But this is not good. This is like...
Oh, no, Playing with Fire was definitely worse than this.
There's much worse films, but
as
this
Brad,
is just lame.
As Brad said, Playing with Fire is like the bushwhacked of this generation. It's like a lost 90s movie. Mm-hmm. Like every bad 90s kids film, and this is not on the same level of awfulness, but it's definitely in that realm of bad 90s kids film.
So, you have this redesign of Sonic, and Sonic looks good. There's that. It is kind of cool seeing there's the traditional Sonic on the big screen, but
let's just looks good enough.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't look like he's really there
good
or
enough.
anything like that. He doesn't look like that ugly thing that was
passable,
before.
I think is the word we need to use here.
And what I love is this movie opens up like he's raised by this owl. I missed that game. But the owl was clearly designed when the original Sonic was designed because it looks like something that'd be a part of that world, not this big-eyed, kind of
you literally have an owl straight from the owl. It was the Owls of Ga'Hoole, basically, but with this... goofy cartoon hedgehog, and so this photorealistic animal. I could see, the weird thing is now I can see what they were going for. We're like, well, it has to match the owl, and now they've...
So this whole movie, so it's like a 90s film, but it's kind of like on fast forward, because, I guess, big shock, the movie's very fast. But with that said, you never have a minute to slow down or let anything that's happening, not that anything that interesting is happening. You've seen this movie a million fucking times. It's this goddamn road trip. But, in the opening, this owl is raising Sonic, little baby Sonic, which is so friggin' weird. I just don't remember this game where this happens. But, the owl is flying, these little masked minions, shoot arrows at the owl, and the owl gets hit with the arrow and goes, oh!
I know, I was like, Jesus.
It gets hit with the arrow and goes, oh! Sonic, you need to get going now. I'm like, you just got hit with an arrow! Why are you talking, perfectly, nothing happened? And this whole movie works like that, just haha, I'm having fun. I wish I had a friend. It just sort of jumps around like that, and then, you'll see James Marsden.
Right, settle down, Tarantino.
No, it's just one of those things where it's the whole thing, it's not even so bad, it's fun. It's just aggravating because
it's boring is what it is.
Yeah, I don't get into these 90s throwback movies where they just focus on the dumb, not enjoyable 90s cliches. There's plenty of fun 90s cliches. The original Sonic games have great 90s cliches. I love that. But this is just all the let's be on the road. That's not what's fun about Sonic. Sonic would go through these magical worlds and these little loops and collect rings and these weird robot monsters, and this is just a road trip, and that's not fun.
Maybe the reason it reminded me of Playing with Fire is because just like that movie, it only took me 5 seconds before I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah,
it was the soundtrack in Playing with Fire where Brad and I looked at each other like, oh god. I mean, to put it simply, this is the sort of movie that opens up with, Sonic's in trouble, there's an explosion, and it freeze frames, and he's like, I'll bet you're wondering how I got here.
No, even better. Again, 90s trope, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking, and I'm like, oh god. And right at that moment, I'm like, oh god. The only cliche worse than that might be literally opening your movie with, it was a dark and stormy night. But let's talk about just the weirdness, the way things jump around. So it starts off with a battle in San Francisco. These are not spoilers. This is the first 10 minutes of the film, and you can't have anything spoiled in
Nothing
this
can
film.
be spoiled in this film.
then at the end, so it opens with a bet you're wondering how I got here. Well, it all started long ago. Let's go back. So then he's a baby being raised by an owl.
In this magical land, yeah.
And there's a credit like the Sonic movie or whatever. And then after that, it says 10 years later. And I'm like,
10 years,
10 years later from what?
Yeah, 10 years since he was a baby?
Yeah, I'm like,
it's already...
So wait, from San Francisco?
I mean, you can
that
connect
battle,
it pretty fast. But
but... And I knew we were in trouble the second it says, this is Green Hills. And it's like this rural town in the Pacific Northwest. I'm like, they did the thing. They it's Green Hills. See, don't you get it? Because it's a small town, and it's not. And the whole time I'm just like, why didn't they just do this in like the lands that Sonic,
it'd be great,
with actual
that
Green Hills?
magical world we saw. That Sonic lives in. Well, why weren't we just there?
And it opens. That's the weird thing. It opens there. Like for a split second, you see the loop and everything, and I'm just like, oh, awesome. And then they decide to go to Earth. This movie is like Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we have Frank Langella as He-Man. We have Frank Langella as Skeletor. We have we have Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. We've got what look like, at least in the little fantasy world, decent enough special effects budgets. Yeah. And it's like, what are we gonna do? Send him to Earth.
Yeah, send him to this boring town. This cop wants to be a cop in San Francisco. Like, who gives a fuck?
Why is this a thing? That, like, I've seen this in a number of movies.
It was so clearly written in the 90s, they didn't update it at all.
That is what it feels
This was
like.
written, and they're just like, we should finally make a Sonic movie. Well, we have a script. It was written 30 years ago. Who gives a shit? It's for babies. It's for kids. Kids are fucking idiots. Just show it to them. And like that, it just feels like that's the mindset going into this.
Speaking of kids, should we mention the interesting thing about the laughs the movie was getting?
How there was like none, even though there was like tons of children in
the
this.
first half, we sat up front. So we have the whole theater behind us. We're in the very back of the front area. We're not the very first row, but we're like maybe the sixth row back in that front section that most cinemas have. I swear, I'm not making this up. Probably the first 40 minutes, no laughs. Jim Carrey is there doing his Jim Carrey thing, but it's not his normal Jim Carrey thing. He's trying to be threatening. Like, well...
No, let's be... He's trying to be funny, too.
He's trying to be funny, too, but it's not the Jim Carrey shtick that I think maybe even these
It's not
kids,
like Ace Ventura or something.
It's not
like
Ace
that,
Ventura or whatever, and every line he delivers gets 0 laughs. Sonic doesn't have any laughs, and for 40 minutes I thought, oh my god, this may be an absolute
It's not until
fail.
we get more into the speed
It
stuff
started,
and fart jokes.
It started with the fart joke.
Yeah,
the fart joke finally, like, behind us. And I'm like,
the only time we heard anyone cheer in this movie was a mid-credit sequence where a character pops up. And you already know who it's gonna be.
There's a character. We'll just say it's a character reveal, and that's another interesting thing that I think we should mention. That the biggest cheer and like
it's when the movie was over.
is when a character who's not in this movie was revealed.
Yeah.
So how does that make Sonic feel? Or Jim or Robotnik? Or I'm just like wow. So a character that wasn't even in this movie. That's when the audience suddenly perked up.
Yeah, you got two actors that have been funny in several of that. James Marsden and Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been bad in other things too, but they've been funny. And I feel like this whole film, like, I'm ready to laugh at them. Like, they have good delivery. Like, they're starting the line, they know the build-up, and they're, following through. They got the good expressions, they got their characters, and I'm like, I'm ready to laugh. You can say almost anything, and I'm gonna laugh at however you end this. And it was almost never funny. They never had any good writing in this. It was writing for, like, 5-year-olds, which you could say, well, it's a movie for kids, but it's like... It's movies for kids if you're like, they're idiots, we don't care. It's like, why not try? Kids films, like, now and over the years have just tried so hard. Like, why not put more effort into this writing?
No, you want a kids film that did it this year on what essentially looked like the same low-ass budget. Dora.
I think that was last year.
Well, last year, but we're in February, so...
But and that's still for little kids.
And that's still for little kids,
clever.
but as an adult who had to see it because Brad's goal apparently is to drag me to those kinds of movies, I was like, this was way better than it had any right to be, and I'm like, that was charming. It's not.
It doesn't have to hit.
I'm not gonna really watch it ever again.
But there needs to be something where I feel like a good kids movie is something where grown-ups can look back and say, man, there's still something of substance here. There's something I enjoyed. And once in a while, there's a little bit of a laugh, and once in a while, some of the speed jokes are a little funny. But like, man, every... What would you say, 15, 20 minutes? There's a laugh? I mean, there's not much.
The laughs got... So the second half is way more slapsticky. That's when the laughs got stronger. The kids were laughing consistently enough where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, they were laughing. But I'm like, remembering back to when I was a kid, I'm like, yeah, this is the stuff that, like, it's slapstick.
Because this is literally what we saw as kids growing up in the 90s.
The energy got kicked up a little. There's no energy in the first half of this movie. This is dead.
No, so sometimes the running, like I say, has energy, but that's about it.
He's sad. That's the problem. Sonic spends half this movie sad and lonely. And he's sad, so there's energy when he... runs around a baseball field because he's sad and angry. And I'm like, that doesn't count. Like, This was a video game series that had all these like colorful levels and unique little robot designs and stuff. And like the first half of this movie is just sad because he's trapped alone on Earth. And again, it's Masters of the Universe.
Even if you accepted this as, well, don't compare it to the game, just accept it as its own thing.
That makes it worse.
No, it is just so old.
Because it's then just not a good movie. It's just a bit like you don't even have the nostalgia factor then if you separate it from the game.
Then you're just like, well, what the hell is it? Why are we listening to something that is like just so tired and been done a million times before? And then there's this thing where it's like these rings can send him like different universes and stuff, and he's like, I had to leave Earth to go to the stupid Mushroom Kingdom. And I'm just like, bitch, Mario gave you a job in Smash Brothers. You like Mario is there. You're like serving tables at TGI Fridays or whatever. I saw that dorkly sketch. I know what he's doing. And Mario's there. He's like, here, come fight with us, man. Come get a little attention at Smash Brothers, and you're gonna fucking throw shit at him?
I'll just say it straight up. Mario won. Like to even throw a joke like that in there. I'm just like, who are you kidding? Mario won. Your console went under in the long. Nintendo's still making consoles.
Yeah.
You had to become basically a game-only company, and even then, most of the games that come out, your goddamn fan base doesn't even like. The only one they have liked recently is a freaking retro game that goes back to 1991. I don't know where they were going with any of that.
I'll give you this. You do technically have the better movie. Technically. But I'd much rather watch Mario Brothers because it's so entertainingly insane.
Yeah.
This is just dull. This is just lacking so much imagination. I mean, it just seems so phoned in.
I'm gonna save people time, and because I had some people posting on my personal Facebook just like, oh wow, it's getting good reviews. Like maybe this is gonna be good, and like I kind of squinted my eyes, like the Fry meme, where I'm just like, like not sure if good sign or bad sign. So I went to Rotten Tomatoes and I looked up. It's at 70%. Maybe
I think it's gone down low. I'd say like 68 or 66.
But when I looked, it was like 71%, 70%, something in there, and I'm like, okay, well, for something that I thought was going to be really god-awful. So I looked up the reviews, and the reviews told me everything, and there was one review in particular, one blurb I saw that I think just nailed it. And I'm just going to read it here. And this isn't to call this particular critic out, it's just to say, like, this told me
this is the movie.
Exactly what this was going to be.
Good representation of what you're going to get.
And so this is what I read. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, is the visual reminder that every underdog, or under-hedgehog, should I say, can have his day and rise up from the heels of failure. One questionable scene for kids, but overall, what a family-centered movie should be. So all I'll say is, if that sounds amazing to you, go see it.
Yeah,
if it doesn't,
you'll get that movie.
I don't know if I would waste my time, but I read that, and all I could think of was the Duckman line, bland, flavorless mush. Like that's, and I'm just like, oh no, I was like, that sounds like bland, flavorless mush. And when I saw it, I'm like, that is exactly what we got, bland, flavorless mush. At least with the other character design, this would have been like Cats. I think people would have been talking about this all year, like, oh, wow, this. But without that lousy character design, it really shows you how little was there.
I think the one thing I mean, like, I know what you're saying with that review. The one thing I would disagree strongly with him on, it's not a family movie. It's a kid's movie. Like, this is not made for the adults at all. This is for kids with one or two little... This person in
particular was saying that because, there's jokes that adults will get, and I'm like...
They'll get, but they won't laugh.
They won't laugh. That's the key. I'm like, yeah, I got all the adult jokes, and then laugh at them because they weren't well written or funny.
So, I'm speaking very harsh because I feel like, this could be... Maybe because that opening, it is like, you could have had this colorful... I thought back to the Saturday morning cartoon and how
the Saturday morning cartoon's still the best Sonic property outside of, the game world.
So to be like, no, we're not doing that. We need something more people can get behind. Let's do something that's 30 years old. That really infuriates me, is that when you take something that's just, been done a million times, it's such a lack of creativity and imagination and effort. And that really
noted, there's a point where even in the real world, they use the rings to go to various locations through the chase.
Yeah, in
and
the
for
climax.
a split second, I thought the same thing you did. I'm like, this is cool. We can have fun with this. They go to like 3 places. It's over in 10 seconds.
I'm thinking, they go to France where they do nothing. They just walk across a sidewalk. They go to the Great Wall, which that's neat for a couple seconds, and then it's gone. And then they go to Egypt where he blows up the Sphinx, which is a little funny. And he runs up a pyramid, and then that's it. I'm thinking, like, you have the world. What can you do with that? You can go anywhere in the world, and they even waste that.
This movie on every single level aims low. And I think that's what bothers me. It's not like, I expect high art from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But, I mean, kids deserve more.
Yeah.
Not only kids, but there's a fan base for this series that goes back 30 years. And I'll be honest, I'm not that fan base. I'm not even a huge Sonic guy where I'm like, so you wouldn't have even had to have done much to impress me. And I'm just like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe there are fans out there who will respond to this, but I'm not sure what it's giving them that would be so,
I think some people will like seeing Sonic on the big screen. I was saying there was something kind of neat about seeing like Sonic billboards and posters with a Sonic that really looks like Sonic. And, it's like the nostalgia factor is there. And I think some people will like seeing Sonic. They'll like, 1 or 2 little wings. Like, he's like, I tried something called a chili dog, like, but I know there's people that'll like
now
that.
Let's see him do a Sonic Says.
Yeah.
Sonic says no one has the right to touch you in your bathing suit area.
No good.
Family-friendly entertainment.
And, and they'll like seeing the character pop up at the end and stuff like that.
My favorite...
But it'll totally be nostalgia. There isn't anything new or exciting or creative really thrown in this. I haven't seen a million other places done better and done when there was excitement behind it. This just doesn't feel like there's any excitement behind it.
My favorite scene in the movie, it's not an action scene. It's not I thought it was really charming when... This isn't even a spoiler. When the girl gave him the shoes.
Mm-hmm, the little kid, yeah.
Yeah, the little kid gives it, and like for a split second there, I'm like, this is like kind of heartwarming, and it's cute, and like you were attached to Sonic as he's a character.
And you can identify with it.
And it made me realize, I'm like, why don't they just have the kid as like if you're gonna do this Earth thing, that's what
the kid.
I don't
supposed
get
to be a kid in this,
like
right?
This movie is obviously meant for kids. And I'm a grown-ass adult sitting here watching James Marsden just, do whatever. And I'm like, but this movie is meant for, like, 5-year-olds. So I'm like, why didn't you just cast the 5-year-old? At least I could probably lower myself to that level a little easier and go, oh, you know what? It's cute. It's like we got kid empowerment film here with a kid running around with Sonic the Hedgehog. And instead, it's the most failed, like, lame adult jokes, that aren't funny, to us who are adults, and the kids for half the movie weren't laughing. I'm just like, why didn't you just let a kid, run around with? If you're gonna do that, I would say don't even do that. Or how about this? I'm a blow your mind. How about this? How about we pair Sonic with a kid, but we take the kid and put the kid into Sonic's world, which is a lot more freaking interesting looking.
No,
I know.
Rob, cars.
I know.
Country bars.
Pickup trucks.
Jokes that, I don't know, are somewhere on a meme or something that Grandpa saw and quoted. Come on, Rob. The possibilities. So, okay, this...
I don't know.
As harsh as we're talking about.
You know what this is? I'll say this. I don't like using this term because I hate the whole okay boomer thing, but this feels like it was written entirely by boomers. Mm-hmm. Like this feels like some 50-year-old, like some guy in their 50s or something, like basically wrote this. Is like, I know what the kids are into. I remember Sonic, and it just falls flat.
So yeah, it's. Despite how harsh we're being, it's not the worst movie. It's just bland. It's just lame. It's just lame
As I said,
and bland. And
that review,
and
if that little blurb sounds like the movie for you,
then you'll love it, man. But,
go see it. Like, I'm not going to say you're necessarily wrong, because maybe there is a fan base for this, but like, that's reading that blurb, I'm like, I know this is going to be, and this film's not for me.
Yeah. I'd much rather watch a movie version of the Saturday morning cartoon. But everybody's different. Who knows? Maybe they'll catch on. We'll see. I know there'll be people that like just seeing Sonic.
There was nobody there. Like, our theater was opening night.
Maybe
less than half full.
Oh, much less. Yeah, no, I was going to say like maybe
full, yeah.
15, 20 people, something like that.
No, there were more than that, because there are like probably 15 kids altogether. Maybe 30 other people.
However many it was. Not a huge reaction, except for the character reveal in the mid-credits. Didn't do it for us, but... I don't know how this movie's being accepted by fans and stuff like that. So.
I will say this: the critical consensus, even though it was at 70%, all the positive reviews. That was exactly it. You know, it's for kids. That's there you go.
I think kids deserve more, but
I do too. I do too.
But let us know. Did you see the movie? Did you like it? Are you a diehard Sonic fan? Are you just a fan in passing, kind of like what we are?
Is this the Sonic movie for you? That's what I'm curious about. Because I'm like, I don't know who this is for.
Is this what you were waiting for? I guess that's the question. There's a Sonic movie. Is 30 this what you were waiting for?
Is this it?
I'm really curious. Maybe you were. I'm not sure.
Is this just, it's nice to see him on the big screen, I guess? Because I'm hearing a lot of that. Like, it's nice to see him on the big screen, which always is one of those, like, lines that I hear where I'm just like, so you just like the fact that it made it to a movie.
Which honestly is some way I can kind of get that too. Like I understand that too. So let us know what you guys think. It definitely wasn't for us, but I'm curious what everyone else thinks out there. So that's about it. See you next time. Take care.
Sonic says he's got an ass.